Hi students, in last class we were studying about the harmful effects of microorganisms and we studied that microorganisms causes diseases not only to human beings, they will cause diseases to animals and plants also. And today we can study about another harmful effect of microorganisms, that is food poisoning. Okay. And in our textbook, there are two characters, Paheli and Bujo. And our Bujo, along with his friends, he went for a party. And after party, he started vomiting and he was taken to a doctor. And the doctor said that this is due to a condition called food poisoning. And our Paheli was surprised to hear that. She knows food makes us healthy. And she was wondering how the food become a poison. Okay, so what happens if you are keeping our food opened and if you are not preserving it well? What happens? Microorganisms will begin to grow on the food items, and when they grow on the food items, they will produce some toxic or poisonous substances. And if we consume that food item, we will be affected by diseases. And the illness caused by food contaminated by microorganisms is called as food poisoning. And the most commonest symptoms include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, etc. And this food poison is caused by microorganisms and mainly it is caused by bacteria. Okay. And when these microorganisms begin to multiply, they will produce some toxic substances on the food, and these substances will change the color, texture and smell of the food also, and our food become unfit for consumption. So these toxic substances make the food poisonous, causing serious illness and sometimes even death also. So the best way to prevent food poisoning is to handle your food safely and to avoid any food that may be unsafe. Now, how can we store the food for future use without spoiling? For example, bread. After 2 or 3 days, what happened to a piece of bread? You can see that some fungus will begin to grow on the bread. You can see with your naked eye itself, it changes its color and you can see the growth of fungus on this bread also. So, and it is unfit for consumption. If we eat that, we will be affected by disease. So, it is important that we should preserve the food items. So, our next topic is food preservation. So, next we can study about food preservation. Food preservation. Okay, so in first lesson we study about the methods that is used for preserving the grains. We study that the grains should be stored in granaries to protect them from pest, rat, etc. And if we are storing the grains in our home, we should add some neem leaves along the food grains so that it will be protected from the attack of pest and all. Okay, so here we are going to study how we can preserve the cooked food items. Okay, so we know that spoiled food will emit some bad smell and bad taste, color change and all. So it is a very big wastage of food. So it should be preserved. So we will want to preserve the food items for many reasons. So one reason is that if we are preserving the food items, we can reduce the wastage of food items. Otherwise, lot of food items will be wasted. So if we are preserving it, we can store it for future use and avoid the wastage of food items. So preserving the food items will avoid the spoilage of food items or wastage of food items. And if we preserve a food item, it will last for a longer period. For example, some food items will be available only during some seasons. You can take the example of mango. mangoes are available only during some seasons. So if we are not preserving it, what happens? We will get mango products only during that seasons. But if we preserve it, we can use it throughout the year. Otherwise, we can't keep mangoes. If we simply keep it without preserving it, it will be spoiled. But if we preserve it as jams, pickles and all, we can use it for later use also. Okay, so it will be available throughout the year. Or for transportation also. If we want to take some food items to a faraway place, if we are not preserving it, what happens? Food will be spoiled. But after preserving it well, we can carry it to different countries itself. So for transportation also, preservation helps us to in the transportation of food items also. So preserving the food items will reduce the wastage of food items. It will make the availability of food items throughout the year, and it will help us to transport the food items also. Okay. So now we can study about the common methods of preserving food in our homes, or how we can save our food items from the attack of microorganisms. And one method is chemical method. Chemical method. So in chemical method, some chemicals or some substances are used as preservatives. So the chemicals that are used or the substances that are used for preserving the food items are called preservatives. So the chemicals or substances that are used for preserving the food items are called preservatives. Okay. Now first is preserving by salt. How we can preserve the food items by salt. So first one is by preserving by salt. Okay. You know tender mangoes. If we keep tender mangoes outside, within a week it will be spoiled. But if we put it in salt solution, we can store it for so many months. And you can see when we put it in salt solution, the water content from the mangoes will go out into the salt solution, and the tender mangoes will begin to shrink. Have you seen that? Okay. So that means if we put something in salt solution, it will suck the water outside from that substance. So if there are microorganisms in it, the salt will suck the water content from the microorganisms also, and the salt will kill the microorganisms. So salt will suck the water content from the body of microorganisms and kill them. So we can preserve our food items in salt. So you have seen that preserving mangoes, lemons, amla, everything in salt solution. And if we are making pickles and all, we can see that we will add lot of salt for preserving it well, and pickles remain for a longer period of time without any damage also. Or in all, now if we have fish and meat and all, we can store it in, preserve it in our refrigerator. But in olden days, there was no refrigerator. So how the people keep it for so many hours? If they keep it outside for so many hours, that meat or fish will be spoiled. So how they keep it for so many hours? They added some salt in that, so that they were able to preserve it for so many hours also. And again about dry fish, you know, people preserve fish as dry fish, and for dry fish also they are adding salt for preserving it very well. Okay, so one method of preserving food item is by adding common salt. Okay, so in pickles we can see a lot of common salts are added, or so many food items are preserved in salt solution, or we can add salt for in meat, fish, etc. for preserving it for so many hours also. Okay. The next method is that preserving the food items in sugar. So second is preserving by sugar. Okay. So you know cherries, amlas and all, people put it in sugar solution. Have you seen that? So what happens if you keep it in sugar solution like salt? Sugar solution also will draw out the water content from the food. So it reduces the moisture content so that bacteria can't grow and spoil the food items. It will reduce the moisture content. So we can keep food items in sugar solution, or you know when we are preparing jellies, jams, squashes and all, we add a lot of sugar in it. Preserve it well so that it will be preserved well for so many months. And some chemicals like sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate, sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfate, so chemicals like sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate are also added as preservatives in jams, squashes and all. So these are the chemical preservatives that are added in jams and squashes to preserve them well. So if preservatives are asked, chemical preservatives are asked, you can give the name of sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite. So is it clear how we preserve food items in salt and sugar? So there are several ways in which salt and sugar inhibit microbial growth. And the most notable is simple osmosis or dehydration. Now what is osmosis? Osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So water molecules move from where to where? Water molecules always move from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. So for example, now we have a vessel here and we add some salt solution. Salt solution means salt dissolved in water. So or some solid salt. We add some solid salt or salt solution. So here we can see molecules of salt. So we add some salt here. Then we put one mango inside this. So this is one mango. And inside the mango there is water. So inside the mango water molecules are present. Okay. So this is salt molecule. This is water molecule. And we study that water molecules always move from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration. So now you look here. Here where is the concentration of water more? Concentration of water is more inside the mango and concentration of water is less outside the mango. So water molecules will move from higher concentration to region of lower concentration. So the water molecules will move out from the mango. So what happens? You can see water molecules will come outside. And when water molecules come outside, who will enter inside? We can see this salt molecules will enter inside the mango also. That is why when tender mangoes, we put tender mangoes in salt solution. What happens? Water molecules goes out. That is why it shrinks. Water molecules will go out. That is why tender mangoes, we can see it will shrink when we put it in salt solution. So here what happens when we put this in salt? We can see water from the mango goes out. So instead of salt, if we put sugar also, same thing. If we add sugar also, what happened? Water molecules, concentration of water molecules is inside the vegetable or fruit is more and outside it is less. So water from the food item will come outside. Okay. So our microorganisms can grow inside the food item only when there is water content. But here the salt or sugar, what they do, they draws the water outside or they suck the water outside from the food item. So there is no water inside the food item. If the water content is less inside the food item, microbes or microorganisms can't grow in the food item. So we can preserve the food item for a longer period of time because a food item is not attacked by microorganisms. Now is it clear? So what is the action of sugar or salt? Sugar or salt will uh, draws out water from the food item, or sugar or salt will try to make their concentration equal everywhere. So first when sugar concentration was more outside. So to make the concentration equal, what it do? It will draws out the water outside and salt enters inside and make the concentration equal everywhere. Concentration of salt equal everywhere. Okay, so when we put food items in sugar or salt, what happens? Water from the food item goes out and sugar or salt will enter into that food item. And microorganisms can grow only in water if there is water content. So when we put it in sugar or salt solution, water is gone outside and so microbes can't grow. So we can preserve the food item for a longer period of time. Is it clear? So next is preserving by oil and vinegar. So preserving food items by oil and vinegar. Okay. So you know that we are adding vinegar and oil in pickles and all. So use of vinegar and oil prevents spoilage of pickles. Why? Because bacteria cannot live in such an environment. So the acetic acid contained in the vinegar increases the acidity of the food items and it will kill the microorganisms in it. So vinegar, by adding vinegar we can kill the microorganisms and preserve the food items for later use. And oil is a natural preservative that prevents spoilage by isolating the food from air. So if we pour some oil, have you seen after making pickles and all, your mother will pour some oil above this mainly gingerly oil over the pickle and then close it. So what happens? This oil will avoid or isolate the food from the air. So in air there will be microorganisms. So it will act as a layer that protect the food from combining with air. So no oxygen, no air. So microorganisms can't grow inside the food items. So by adding oil and vinegar, we can preserve fruits, vegetables, fish, meat, everything we can preserve by adding oil and vinegar. Okay, so these are the chemical methods. So by which are the chemical methods? By adding, preserving it in salt, or by preserving it by using sugar, by using oil and by using vinegar. The next we can study, next method is heat and cold treatment. So this is chemical method. The next method is by treating with heat and cold. Heat and cold treatment. So treating the food item with heat and cold. So you know the cells of bacteria or microorganisms will be quickly destroyed at 100 degrees Celsius or above 100 degrees Celsius. So if we heat or boil some food items, the microorganisms in it will be destroyed, or that will kill, the heat will kill the microorganisms. So if we keep some milk outside, after a few hours it will be spoiled. But if you boil the milk and store it, we can see it will remain for few more hours. Have you seen it? Or what about drinking water? We are boiling our drinking water to kill the microorganisms in it. So by boiling also we can kill the microorganisms. Then next is what? Cold treatment. Have you seen your mother keeping all the food items in refrigerator, storing all the food items in refrigerator, fruits, vegetables, fish, meat, milk, everything in refrigerator? Why? If you keep it, store it in refrigerator, we can see that we can preserve it for few more days. So it will prevent the attack of microorganisms. So what happens at low temperature, or the low temperature will slow or inhibit the growth of microorganisms. So microorganisms can't grow when the temperature is very low. So if you are keeping it in refrigerator, it is very cool there, temperature is very low. So if we store the food items in refrigerator, we can see that or we can preserve it for so many days also. Okay, so by treating with heat and cold also we can preserve the food items. Clear? Now we can study about the preservation of milk, or how we can preserve milk. So if we store some milk in some packets, what happens? Within one day itself it will be spoiled. But what about the milk that we buy from shops in packets? After 2 or 3 days we are purchasing it, but no problem. So why that no problem for that milk? That is because that milk is pasteurized milk. So now we can study what is pasteurization. So next method, or the method for preserving milk, is pasteurization. Okay, so what is pasteurization? So in the milk that we get in packets are pasteurized milk. That is why after 2 or 3 days also no problem for that milk. So what is pasteurization? That is boiling the milk, heating it for about 70 degrees Celsius. So boiling, what is the boiling point of water? Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And the boiling point of milk is 100.5 degrees Celsius. That means during pasteurization the milk is not boiled. For boiling it should be boiled at 100.5 degrees Celsius, but it is not boiled. It is heated at a low temperature, that is about 70 degrees Celsius. So the milk during pasteurization is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds. Okay, so it is heated to about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds. It is heated like that. And after 15 or 30 seconds, it is suddenly cooled. Not kept for so many hours and cooled. It is suddenly cooled. And after that, cooling it is stored also. So pasteurization means, what is that process? It is heated to 70 degrees Celsius for about 15 to 30 seconds and it is suddenly cooled. Okay. And if you do like that, heat and suddenly cool it, it will prevent the growth of microorganisms, and we can preserve the milk for a longer period also. Okay. So usually the fresh milk that we get, we will boil the milk before consuming it. For what? To kill the microorganisms. But pasteurized milk can be consumed without boiling it, because it is free from harmful microorganisms. And do you know who discovered this process? From the term pasteurization itself, you can say the name of the scientist. Who is that? It is Louis Pasteur. So Louis Pasteur discovered the process of pasteurization. So we can store or preserve milk by using the process of pasteurization. Okay. Next method is drying the food items. Okay. So have you seen dried fish? We can store it for a longer period of time. But what about fresh fish? Within one day itself, it will be spoiled. So after drying, we can preserve it for a longer period of time. Or what about bitter gourd? Have you seen dried bitter gourd? We can store it for a longer period of time. Whenever we need, we can take it and fry it and use also. Or chilies, you have seen dried chilies. So many food items we are preserving it after drying it. So what happens during drying? Drying removes the moisture from the food. So microorganisms cannot grow and they cannot spoil the food items also. So by drying the food items also we can preserve the food items. Clear? The next topic is storage and packing. So we can preserve food items by using different methods. Now how we can store that food items or how we can pack it. Okay. So next topic is storage and packing. Storage and packing. So how the food items are packed? You have seen that food items are packed or sealed in airtight packets. So why? What is the advantage of packing it in airtight packets? Airtight packets does not allow the entry of air. Along with air, microorganisms also will enter. So these airtight packets does not allow the entry of microbes, and that will help to prevent the food from the attack of microorganisms. So we should, how we can store the food items? We can store the food items by packing it in airtight containers or airtight packets. So we know how we can preserve the food and how we can store it also. So we can preserve the food by using chemical methods, that is preserving it by salt or sugar or oil or vinegar. Or we can use the method of heat and cold treatment. We can boil and preserve the food item. We can keep it in refrigerator and preserve the food item. Then how we can preserve the milk? By the process of pasteurization we can preserve milk. Then some food items we can preserve by, after drying it, we can store it for a longer period of time. And after drying this, what we can do? After doing all this, how we can store these food items? We can store it in airtight containers or airtight packets, so that air won't enter along with microorganisms. Air won't enter into the packets, so there won't be oxygen inside the packet. Microorganisms can't grow and the food will remain inside the packets without any problem. Okay, clear now? Bye.